Hey girl, talk to me. How was your day? First of all, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? Let me know. I need to know. What are you doing? How was your day? What did you have to do today? Did you have a lot of errands to run? Did you work today? I mean, every day I know you always have a lot going on. I get it. Y'all don't judge me, okay? But I love this ice like this right here. That is such a bad habit. Hey girl, welcome. I don't like that water. I like the ice, but not the water. So listen, my beautiful, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've had an amazing day so far. Now, typically when I do these kind of videos, I like to do them early in the morning, so that, especially like during the week, so that way when you have a work day, I know that the work day can be really long, and sometimes we just need something to look forward to get us through the day. For example, you know, we look forward to seeing someone special, talking to someone special, eating some good food, watching something good on TV, watching a movie, just anything to kind of de-escalate the day. Because, you know, the day, sometimes these different days can bring different situations, right? And so sometimes we need to be able to de-escalate the day. So that's why I like to give these little chats to you during the week, so that way it makes things easier for you to de-escalate your day. However, I don't think that we should discriminate against the weekend, girl. So if you have a little bit of time, sit back, relax, and enjoy your time. Now, let's talk about a story time, girl. Now, everybody and their mama been over here talking about this Tinder Swindler, right? And I feel like when certain things happen to certain people, then things get blown up. You know what I'm saying? But come on, y'all. If we think about it, how many of us have either been catfished or swindled? I'll wait. Let's put the air on, girl. Now, I'm going to tell you about a time where I was Fat Girl Swindled. I don't know if it was the Tinder Swindler, but there definitely is, in the world of plus size dating and these different plus size dating apps, there definitely is a Fat Girl Swindler, okay? And I came across them. And I'm going to definitely share this story with y'all. I know y'all going to say, now, Joy, really? I know, girl. I know. Yes, really. But sometimes things happen, girl. They just, whether we like it or not, they happen. So, during this particular time, I'm going to tell y'all what happened, okay? So, I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know this or not. However, I used to be in ministry school. And I was going through a practicum, and I was in a master pastor internship program back in the day. I graduated from it. But during the time that I was in this master pastor internship program, I was really, really seeking God. Like, I really wanted to be a Christian, and I really wanted to do things the right way, okay? And I thought, because of the way that I was taught, I'm not saying these are my beliefs now. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying at the time when I was in school, you know, when I was first going to school, I first was going to school for ministry training, right? And so I was trying to make sure that I was above reproach. I was trying to make sure that I was doing the right thing. Because at the time, my mom was big into the church. My mom held a position in church, and everybody in the town where I live at knows me. Everybody where I live at knows me. okay? And they know me in connection with my mom. Like I've told you guys many times before, my mom is famous here in our town for music. And so whenever you, like I've said before, there's just certain people that no matter what, that black people will celebrate. And typically it's musicians, athletes, and cooks. When you can cook really, really well, when you have like a musical talent, whether either you sing or play an instrument or you're an athlete, even if you're overweight, because sometimes if you're overweight or you look a certain type of way, you can kind of like be shunned a little bit. But in my instance, because my mom was very, very talented, very humble, very talented people, she was always the person where if you were getting married, they called my mom because they wanted her to sing at their wedding. Or if someone was graduating, or if there was some type of a event, anything having to do with the church, choir, convention, singing, playing the piano, they called my mom. So when you're in that kind of a situation and you're in a very small town, everything you do is under a microscope. So I've always kind of had that like situation where I could never really like be behind the scenes. I've always been like pushed into the limelight, and I've always been the type of person who wanted to kind of like, I like laying low. I like moving, kind of like something like a ninja. So to be in a situation where you're in the limelight sometimes can make you uncomfortable. Why is this important? I'm trying to give you some background to where my mind was. Not that there's any excuse for getting swindled, but I'm just being real with y'all. And I hope that you can relate to this story, and not only relate to this story, but maybe it will help you to recognize some of the red flags that I completely ignored. Because now that I look back on this story, I absolutely should have been paying better attention. But I'm just kind of letting you know like where I came from and some of my foundation, just in case you don't know. If you've been following me for a while, then you definitely know my story. But I know that some of you guys, you watch one video, but you don't go back and watch all of my videos. Because I know, because you asked me some questions that I've answered 100 times, like what happened to your teeth, or why you don't have no teeth, or why you so big, or you know what I'm saying, I've answered those types of questions, you know what I'm saying. So I'm trying to kind of give you some background or foundation. Is that a better word? Foundation? But anyway, so during this time I was really, really into the church, okay? I didn't think that, and basically I thought that the wee-wee, for the sake of YouTube, I thought that the wee-wee was the devil, okay? I thought that the wee-wee was wicked, so I stayed away from it, because I thought that that somehow meant that I was going to get a good husband, or because I was a good girl, that, men would like the fact that I wasn't out here tricking off, you know what I'm saying? Because that was what I had always been taught, that if you're a good girl, you do the right thing, you keep your legs closed, you say no, men will like you, they will respect you, they'll want to be with you. So that's kind of what the situation that I was in, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be a virgin, whatever, trying to do right. So during this time, I started liking this guy. And let's just say he was in the church, right? Him and I started kicking it. This is not the swindler. We got to lead up to the swindler, girl. This is a long ass story. Sit back, relax, get you something to drink, get you a snack. Because, girl, this is one of those times in my life where I don't really want to admit that this is something that I went through. But it is what it is. And hopefully it will help one of you dolls. So there was this guy in the church. I really, really, really liked him. I had a crush on him. We'll call him Jason. So Jason and I, we became friends. We began to talk. We began to get to know each other. I thought, let's just say Jason held a position in the church as well. I thought that because I was a good girl, I went to church, I was in ministry school, I was doing the right thing, I wasn't sleeping around, I wasn't drinking. I was really, y'all, I really love God. And I really had God in my heart. And I really really wanted to do the right thing. I'm not, now every time I say this, I always get these hate emails. Oh, now you're the devil, now you don't believe in God. No, I still believe in God. But I just was in a position at that time where I was very religious. I won't even say that I was necessarily saved like I should have been. I just was very naive, very innocent, and very religious. And I thought that all of these things that I was doing was what it meant to be a Christian. And that's not necessarily the truth, okay? So I started dating this guy. I really, really, really liked him. He was very attractive traditionally. He was somebody who I felt like I had to keep it a secret because for whatever reason, I felt like once people knew that I was dating him, somehow it would go left. So I was dating him. I kept it a secret. He approached me intimately, and I felt like maybe he's just testing me because we're not supposed to be doing that. Like, we both in the church, like, So, of course, I told him no. And shortly after that, he stopped liking me. Maybe he never liked me in the beginning. But we stopped talking, which really, really hurt my feelings. And because of that, I kind of was confused because he ended up actually getting another girl in the church pregnant and marrying that girl. And that really, really, really hurt my feelings, right? So that kind of made me feel like, what these people told me, that if you do the right thing and you tell a man no, that man gonna want you and he gonna want to marry you. Now here, this girl done got pregnant. She obviously wasn't telling nobody no, and she's got married. Wait a minute, something ain't right. So that kind of made me question, like, well, what the hell am I doing, being good, trying to do the right thing? And I felt like nobody around me really wanted to date me for like a sincere reason during this time. I'm big. I wouldn't say I was never homely. I always dressed up really, really nice because I felt like in order to be accepted, before I got woke back in the day, in order to be accepted, I felt like I had to always dress up and have my hair done and my nails done and my lashes done and look a certain type of way in order for people to accept me. Just think, I'm in the South, black, Pentecostal / Baptist, foundational truth type situation. Trust me, I dressed because I had to. You was not allowed to have a day off. Big black preacher's kid. There was no ugly teeth. There was no crusty eyes. There was no, you never could have a hair out of place, okay? To me, I connected all of that with religiousness. I connected all of that with bondage. I connected all of that with being a part of something I didn't want to be, because I felt like you could have the highest heel, the biggest hat. I guess because I've been in church so long that I would see how even if someone dressed to the nines, there was always going to be somebody talking about them. And I wanted to be free, right? Anyway, fast forward. I decide to get on Fat Girl Tinder. Put it down below if you know what website is Fat Girl Tinder. It's still up and running even now to this day. It's not called Fat Girl Tinder, but this is where the Fat Girl Swindler is at, okay? Beware, girl. Beware. So I get on Fat Girl Tinder and I start, scrolling, whatever it is that's scrolling. I put all my pictures up there. I fill out all of the questions. I put my little thing. Oh, I'm looking for somebody to love me for me. I'm looking for somebody that I can get to know. I'm 5'4", chocolate complexion, gray eyes. I'm thick. I'm thick. I'm thick and plus size, big, beautiful woman, and I'm looking for a man that knows how to handle me and that isn't ashamed to show what he likes. You know, this is the stuff that I don't put in the profile, girl. So, lo and behold, here comes the Fat Girl Swindler messaging me. Him and I starts talking. Now, I'm thinking that I'm smart. I'm smarter than the average. So I tell him, I say, you know, I want to see you. Now, mind you, the Fat Girl Swindler lived in Georgia. I'm down here in Florida. So we trying to figure out how I'm going to get to see him and all of this and all of that. Because we've been talking for a couple of weeks. Now, mind you, y'all, this is back in the day. Okay, this is back in the day, AOL chat room. Back in the day, BET chat room. You know, chatting was the thing, right? This is kind of back then. But not too far back, because if y'all remember, there was an app called Kik. I don't know if you guys know Kik but it's K-I-K. And basically, Kik had a feature where you could video chat, right? And it had a feature where you could message. Well, we wanted to get off of I almost said the name, Fat Girl Tinder. We wanted to get off of Fat Girl Tinder and transition over to Kik. So we started kicking. We started getting, you know, whatever. So I'm super excited. He's seen me. We done talked. I've seen him. We done message. We ready to go, girl. So we making plans to see each other in person. So in the midst of us making the plans to see each other in person, he tells me, okay, we're going to meet this part in this part of Georgia. And because he's like, sorry, y'all. So he tells me we're going to meet in this particular part of Georgia, right? I know that's kind of distracting. He tells me that we're going to meet in this particular part of Georgia. So I'm like, okay, super excited. So I get all my stuff ready. I'm getting prepared to get on the road so that way we can meet and I can go see him or whatever. Now, even though he lives in Georgia and I live here, it's still kind of like, is that bothering y'all? That's kind of bright, right? Hold on. Really? Is that better? I apologize. So we began to make these plans for us to go see each other. Now, even though he lives in Georgia, the place that he lives in Georgia is so far up that it's really closer for us to still meet in Georgia than for him to meet down here. So, plus, y'all just, unless y'all know me in real life, y'all won't understand. But everybody knows my mama. Like, everybody knows my mama. Okay? You can't go nowhere without being like, hey, you Georgia's daughter? Are you Georgia's daughter? Oh, you're Georgia's daughter. Oh, you are so-and-so. Are you a so-and-so? Oh, I know you. I know your mama. I know da-da-da. So I was trying to get out as far away from anybody who could possibly see me and cause himself remote and back in to one of my family members to tell them where I was or what I was doing. So I cursed myself all the way up here to see this boy. We make arrangements. You know, I'm supposed to get the room. I get the room. I go to check into the room. We about to meet each other. Like, now, mind you, I should have met him somewhere and him get a room somewhere, not us be trying to meet and then get a room together. But it, nevertheless. So I get to the hotel room. I'm messaging him all the way there, right? So it never dawned on me that I have not heard from him my whole trip. Because it wasn't unusual for him to go long periods of time It wasn't unusual for him to go long periods of time without talking to me, or for me to go long periods of time without talking to him. So it didn't even really dawn on me that I had not talked to him since we made these plans. So I'm still carrying my happy chubby ass up here to meet him. So I get to the hotel room, I check in, and then it dawns on me like he hasn't answered any of my messages. So I'm finally in a position where instead of messaging, I call him. I call him through the app. I call him on his cell phone. No answer, no answer. I'm calling him. No answer, no answer. So I check into the hotel. I go to sleep. I'm sad because I'm like, well, damn, like, where is he? So I'm thinking that he's going to stand me up. Okay? I'm still not thinking my ass is about to get swindled. I'm thinking he's standing me up. So I'm like, well, I've already got this room. I've already, driven this far. I might as well go ahead and get checked into the hotel and just kick it and wait until he bring his old, heavy, juicy booty. But I'm thinking I might as well just get checked into the hotel and wait until the next day until he decides to bring himself, on. Or if he doesn't, then I can just be out. So, girl, I wake up in the morning to like 25 text messages, right? And it's on the same app, but it's from a different person. So I thought it was his sister. Now, mind you, this whole time, we never ever talked about him having a sibling or a sister or anything like that, right? It never actually came up in discussion. Like, we didn't talk about it. Now, all of a sudden, I'm getting a message from someone who's telling me that they're his sister and basically letting me know that this fool done got robbed, that they done took, he was on his way to meet me, and he got robbed. They stole all of his stuff, his phone. They stole his car. They stole all of his stuff. He done got robbed. So that's the reason why he didn't meet me, and he wasn't going to be able to meet me. But not to worry, because they told him that if he could just come up with $500, no, that if he can come up with $1,000, that they would give him all his stuff back. Wait, what? And I'm like, okay, so you guys aren't going to go to the police? And she was like, no, he doesn't want to go to the police. He doesn't want to have to file any type of report. He doesn't want any communication or interaction with the police. And I'm just like, okay. So he's like, this person, I'm saying he because I don't believe, now that I think about it, I don't believe that ever was him. I believe this I don't believe it was his sister. I believe this was him his whole time. And I played Dodo, okay, at the time. So, girl, tell me why the sister tells me that all he needs is $1,000. She don't have $1,000, but she's gonna give him $500. But they need me to come up with the other $500. So he can get his stuff back and be on the way to be with me. So tell me why. Yes, girl, I did. I sent her the $500. Now, my question would have been, now, that's why I'm so like, now, my question would have been like, well, but sis, how are you able to message me and he's not able to message me? That don't make sense to me. And why is it that y'all won't go to the police? Why are y'all trying to pay a ransom for his stuff? Why wouldn't they just sell his stuff that he got and get more than that? Okay. So mind you, we were supposed to go somewhere for 7 days with each other. Okay. Y'all, we had been talking for a while and we had been planning this. This was supposed to be like a vacation. So so after I send the money, I send the number, the little number of me sending the money to them and the name. Now, the name was a female's name. That's the part that threw me off. So I sent the money, whatever. Okay. So then I just waited. I didn't hear nothing back. Now we on day 2. Day 2, middle of the day, I'm like, you know what? This is stupid. I'm not going to just be sitting here waiting to hear from, because mind you, I start messaging, I start calling, I don't hear anything. So I'm like, okay, day 2. So let me go ahead and let me just go out and try to eat or try to do something. So that way I'm not just sitting here waiting on this food. Okay, halfway through, I get a call. It's him. Oh my God, baby, thank you so much. I'm so glad. And I'm like, now by this time, I'm feeling like, I don't know. He's like, oh my God, baby, this, and that. Oh my God, thank you so much. I got all my stuff back. They took everything, blah, 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 blah. I'm on my way to you now. I'm like, you just got robbed and your stuff was held for ransom. How did they let you go? And then how did your sister message me? Like, I'm asking all these questions. He's like, oh no, baby, I don't want to talk about all it. It's over. It's past us now. I'm on my way. I'll be there, in the next 2 hours. And I'm like, okay. Girl, he gets there. He looks exactly like how he said. The car looks how he said. He, like, everything about him is like how he said. Other than this extravagant ass story, which is still really bothering me. And I'm not understanding how, if you don't have no phone, they took everything from you. How were you able to get a hold of your sister? And how was she able to get a hold of me? He was like, oh, well, she just remembered your name. I just remembered your name and the email. And I'm like, I don't even remember what email I had set up with Kit. How do you... Anyway, he gave me some story and explained it all, right? So he had an answer for everything. So, of course, we meet, we kiss. He starts making me feel like, of course, like, oh, you're so beautiful. You're my dream. He done brought me flowers, which I'm sure he brought with that damn $500 that I sent. Okay. So he brings me flowers and candies and all this stuff, and he's being so nice, and he's like, oh, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there, we're gonna go here. Now, on the phone, when we was doing all of these conversations, he was telling me that he had never been to this part of Georgia before. How is it that when I get there, okay, all of a sudden, right, you know everywhere to go. Oh, I looked it up, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So we spend like the first 2 days, everything is okay. Then all of a sudden, I noticed that every single time he gets a call on his phone, or his phone goes off or something like that, he never answers it in front of me. A normal person, if their phone ring or their phone go off, they're going to answer it in front of you. Him, no, he never answers it. Lo and behold, world, tell me why. He's taking a shower. Okay, girl. So while he was in the shower and the water was running and somebody knocks on the door. Doop, doop, doop. As I get. So somebody knocks on the door, girl. I open the door and the person is like, Joy. And I'm like, yes, plus size princess. Because she was beautiful. I mean, beautiful, plus size, just gorgeous girl. So I open the door and I'm like, yes, this is she, yes. And she's like, well, she asked for the guy, right? She's like, is so-and-so, so-and-so? And I'm like, yes, he's here, but he's in the shower. Now, I'm like, well, who are you? She begins to tell me the whole real story of what happened. Tell me why we talking now. Mind you, I still haven't completely opened the door. And she tells me the entire whole story. She says that this car and all his stuff, he was not robbed. Did nobody rob him? She says that is a complete lie. She's not his sister. He doesn't he doesn't know where his sister she doesn't know where his sister, or if he has a sister, but that he has killed off all kinds of grandparents that he's had, and he says at least 2 or 3 times he's killed off parents. He's even said that he had babies coming that weren't. Basically, he's a pathological liar. Not only is he a pathological liar, but the car that he was talking about that got stolen, she said was hers. And all of his stuff was in it. And she said the only reason that she told him that it was going to take $500 to get his car back, girl, was because he had been driving her car and had gotten tickets in the car. And she told him the only way he could get the car is if he paid the tickets. But she never intended to give him the car. Girl, tell me why, somehow, some way, he got the car and all his stuff back. Don't ask me how, because I'll never know. But apparently, it's her car. So not only was she there to take the car again, but that there was somebody out downstairs who wanted to have a word with him. So at this exact time, okay, let me just tell you how this works. He comes trotting out the shower like, who's like, what's going on? Who's this? Like, girl, acting like he has no idea who was at the door. So I'm telling him, I'm like, this young lady says that you did not get robbed, that the car was hers. She took her car back. So I'm going off, telling him everything that she's told me, because I'm like, why would this girl come all this way? Where is she from? Like, apparently this girl wasn't even from Georgia. She was from Tennessee. Girl, he gets dressed. I go downstairs because I want to see what she's talking about. And she was like, well, look, I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm going to call the police because I feel like he stole my car. And I feel like this is the second time that he stole my car. And I'm just asking her, I'm like, how did he steal your car? How? Because she just keeps saying it. He stole my car before. And I told him the only way he was going to give it back is if he bring me my $500 for the tickets. And she was like, but I never intended to give it to him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, I'm still trying to understand, how was it that he was in it? So basically, long story short, y'all, Cowboy Casanova, a.k.a. the Fat Girl Swindler, goes from girl to girl to girl on all these different websites, betting them, okay, and then taking what he can from them. Some he uses for food, some he uses for their car, some he uses for money. Apparently, he didn't have no car, and he liked this particular girl's car. So he liked to use her just for her car. Girl, he wasn't even doing no big time swindling. Okay? He liked to use certain girls just for money. He never met a plus size girl that he didn't try to use for one thing or the other. Now, mind you, we go downstairs. He come running down the stairs. Don't believe anything she say. She lying. I'm like, you don't even know what she said yet. I'm still, again, trying to figure out, how did he steal your car? Lo and behold, I guess when they was making magic, she would fall, he would talk his way into her house. They were making magic. While they were making magic, she would fall asleep and he would take the car. And she says this has happened 2 or 3 times. I'm not even going to get into that. Moral of the story is, don't travel for the wee-wee, girl. If there's one lesson, I know you might say, Joy, really? Don't travel for the wee-wee. Let it come to you. That's number one. Number two, the lesson I've learned, I got to get to know people better before I trust them with so quickly. And I also have to learn that it's not good to go from one place, like one hurt place, to another hurt place. I feel like because I had already gone through all that craziness that I had been going through with the guy that I had dated before this, I feel like that made me vulnerable and susceptible. Is that how you say it? Susceptible to be taken advantage of. I was naive. There were several red flags. Like, for example, when we were talking, sometimes he would go a day or two without responding to my messages. That's a big, huge red flag. Second red flag is that I felt like when we would talk on the phone, he would never talk to me while he was at home. We would always talk while in transition, like me going to work, him going to work, or him going to the store. But to be on the phone, in the bed, laying at night, we would never really do that. That lets me know why. Because he was never really at home or in a position to where he could just be caking on the phone with me. Seems a bit odd, don't it? Yep. But at the time, oh no, he liked me. He accept me. He accept my weight. Third red flag. Okay? Just because someone is accepting of what others may deem as a flaw in you doesn't mean that we can't hold them accountable for their actions. And that's the reason why that dating now for me is different than it once was in my life. There once was a time in my life that no matter what somebody did, oh, I'm gonna be ride or die for them. I'm gonna stick by them. Oh, they love me. They don't mind that I'm big. They don't mind my weight. Like, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna do everything for them. I'm gonna go out of my way. I'm gonna be that girl, right? And that's what got me to being at a hotel in a state that wasn't my home state, outside, embarrassed, with this beautiful plus size girl who's telling me, I've been dealing with this man for all this long and you're not the only one. He does this. I've been with him for 2 years. Him and I had just started talking. Well, it had been like maybe 4 months. And here I am all the way in another state trying to find love or looking for love in all the wrong places. I believed him because I wanted to believe him, because the things that he was saying sounded real good to me, and none of it panned out and none of it checked out. Girl, where is the money that he took from me? I never got that back. Where's the time that he took from me? Never got that back. Talk about swindled or being swindled. I was Fat Girl Swindled. I played that role. I hate to admit it. I would love to tell y'all, oh, he didn't get one over on me. I was out of there. But no. And even after everything went down the way that it did, I still felt some kind of way because I really liked him. Y'all know me. Like, if I like somebody, I like somebody. If I don't, I don't. But if I really like someone, I'm invested into the situation. Girl, listen. All I got to say about Tinder Swindler is that I don't feel like that's something that just happened. Is it an extreme? Yes. But I feel like we all have been a fool for love. But at some point, we have to learn how to recognize the red flags. And I know for me, I'm going to be honest, there's still some red flags that I'm pretty sure I probably have fell for. Especially when it's like, you know, when you're, for me, I don't know about anybody else. I'm not blaming it on being plus size. I'm just saying this is my plus size perspective. But for me, when you're plus size and you live in a world where not only plus size people hate on you, straight size people hate on you, you know what I'm saying? There's always this expectation that when you're a heavy set person, it's going to be difficult for you to find love, or you're somehow undeserving of love. That can make you be a little bit more vulnerable and susceptible to people when they try to take advantage of you. But I think I think all of us at one point, or well, I'm going to speak for myself. I don't know. You guys, let me know down below. Have you ever been catfished? Have you ever been swindled? Have you been a swindler? And not just on Tinder, but it can be on any website. Let me know down below. I hope that this story was a good lesson. Girl, don't travel out of town for the wee. And if there are red flags, pay attention, girl. Don't close your eyes. Open your eyes. Don't. Open your eyes. Listen, girl, welcome to my channel. If you're new, if you're not, thank you so much for returning. I really appreciate you. I hope you laughed a little bit. I hope you related a little bit, and I definitely hope you let me know your thoughts down below. Love you to the moon and back, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I will talk to you later, girl. I wanna